What's going on, guys? Balkan Architect here, and today I've got quite a cool video for you guys. So I decided to cover the topic of how to create different floor finishes in Revit. So whenever you have a floor for your floor plan, you're usually going to have different finishes depending on the on basically what the room is used for. So for the kitchen, you would have some sort of tile. For the bathroom, you might have the same tile or different tile. Maybe you want carpet for the bedroom and then wood flooring for the living room or something like that. So usually each room will have a different floor finish. And just by using the regular floor tool, it's not going to give you that option. So in this video, I'm not going to be showing you one, but actually three ways of approaching having or creating different floor finishes for your Revit floor plans. Now, as everything else in Revit, there are multiple ways of doing it, so I think that the best option is to show all of those, and then you can pick out which option works best with whatever you're trying to achieve. Now, before I get into that, I would just like to ask you to like this video. It helps me out a lot with the YouTube algorithm, and also make sure to subscribe because I make useful Revit tutorials each week. And also I make some courses, so I've got a whole beginner to intermediate course. It's 16 hours long and it's basically pretty much everything you need to know if you're a beginner. So check it out, it's up on my website, first link in the description. So also there I've got many intermediate and advanced courses, and also on my Patreon I've got all of those courses as well as project files. So that's going to be the second link in the description of this video. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's get straight into the tutorial. Okay, so here we are in Revit, and this is the building that we're going to be using for this demonstration. So we have a nice looking house over here, but if I go here to the level 1 floor plan, you're going to notice that we can't really see any difference in floors over here. And then if I select the floor that's being used, you're going to notice that it's just a generic 200mm floor. Now for this particular floor plan, what we have is a kitchen over here with some sort of a storage area, and then also here we have a bathroom, and additionally we have this outside area. So here we have some sort of outside decking, or basically a place where you're going to have an outside floor. So in this first approach to creating different floor finishes in Revit, what we're going to be doing is just creating 3 different floor types. So let's see how can we do something like that. So what I'm going to do now is just select the floor in question, and then what I'm going to do is just go here into Edit Type, and then let's go into Edit Structure. Now for the structure, we can have just the main structural function material, and let's leave the thickness at 20 centimeters. And then for the material, we can just open up the material browser and add some sort of a concrete material perhaps, or something like that. So let's add the cast in place gray concrete. Okay, so once we have this, now we can start adding additional layers to this. So let's go over here. Let's insert another layer. So let's say that we have maybe 5 centimeters of some sort of insulation. So let's call it a thermal air layer. And then for the material, let's go here and let's search for some sort of a rigid insulation. There we go. Okay, so once we have that, let's add one more material. So let's insert that, and for structure, let's go with substrate. And then for the material, let's say we have some sort of we have to have some sort of protection above this. So maybe I don't know, let's go with just plywood or something like that, or maybe even some sort of concrete above that, just a small layer. And then let's go again with the cast in place gray concrete, but a way smaller thickness, something like 4 centimeters will do the trick. Okay, so once we have this main material all set up, what we can do now is add the final finish material. So I'm just going to insert here maybe at 2 centimeters thickness. Let's add another material. So this material is going to be some sort of a floor material. So let's see what we have. Okay, we have oak flooring. Okay, so we have the first and the main material. So if I just click OK, Okay, this one is set at structure, and that of course cannot be, so let's set it to finish 1 and then click OK. Okay, let's set this one to finish material as well, and there we go. Finally, we have our floor created. Okay, so once we have this floor created, we can of course rename it. So let's just call it our main floor. There we go. Maybe let's add dash wood. So just to indicate the wood finish. Click OK, click apply, OK again, and there we go. So now this floor has been applied to our entire building. Now we have to add a couple of more floors, so I want to have some sort of a carpet perhaps for this bedroom, let's say, and then I want to have some sort of tile for the bathroom and something for the outside. So what I'm going to do is just go here and go into edit type. And let's duplicate this one. So this is going to be the main floor, but let's call it tile. Click OK. And then for structure, let's go into edit structure. And just for the finish material, let's search for tile. And do we have something? Maybe ceramic tile. There we go. Click OK. OK again. And there we go. Now we have tile applied. Now, of course, that's not at the end. Let's select the floor again, go into edit type, duplicate it again, and let's call this one carpet. Click OK, go into structure, go into the material, and let's search for floor again. And now we are going to have this carpet option, so let's select that. Click OK again, and then we have that. And let's just duplicate it one more time, and let's call this one outside. Click OK, and then let's go into edit. And then here, I just want to add something that looks like decking. So let's see. Do we have some material for that? Okay, we only have the metal deck. So what I'm going to do is just search for wood. And then I like to use the, let's see, can I find it here? There is a really nice material. There we go. This siding material, it kind of looks like that outside decking. So I tend to use it just because of the material. So what I'm going to do is just load that in and use that one for our decking. Click OK. OK again, and there we go. Okay, so now finally we have all of these materials created, but still we have one floor. So what we need to do now is just separate this floor into, well, multiple floors. So what you can do is go into edit boundary. So first thing that we're going to do is just remove floors. So for example, go here into a line tool, and then basically carve out this part. This is going to be tile. Same thing goes here. So maybe we have tile there, then we are going to have carpet over here. So let's just go like that. So basically we just want to leave the parts where we're going to have, for example, the wood floor. So in this case, the wood floor is only going to go in this area over here. Of course, outside we're not going to be using it. So let's just go here. And then as you can see, I'm cutting along the line, the structural line of the wall. So just keep that in mind. There we go. So now we can basically trim and extend and fix this up. So let's go to trim and extend, and let's fix it up here, here. There we go. We can get rid of this line, and that's pretty much it. So now when we delete this, so this is the only thing that's left as our regular floor. Now before we save this, let's just go to properties and change this into a wood floor. Hit finish. There we go. Now let's go and create a new floor. So just go to floor. Now instead of wood floor, let's go to tile, and then let's start creating a floor here. So it's going to go something like this, and then like this over here in this area. And then we can just hit finish. And finally, let's add the carpet. So let's go to floor again, and then let's go to carpet. Let's create a rectangle, for example, from here to here. Now, of course, I'm just doing broad strokes over here, and you are going to have to be a bit more accurate with this, of course. But anyways, this is just going to be that carpet finish. And then finally, for this outside, let's go to floor again. Let's use the outside, and let's add that decking over here, perhaps maybe like that, and hit finish. Okay, so we do have some sort of an overlap. Let's see where that is. But anyways, you might want to fix that up a little bit, but you get the point. So we're going to have decking over here. So now we basically have different floor finishes. So if I go here to the 3D view, and if I go to the properties, turn on the section box, what you can do is just select it and then move it down a little bit. There we go. And if we just switch this to realistic, there we go. We have different floor finishes inside of our house just by using different floor types and just dividing up the floor. Now let's take a look at the second approach through creating different floor finishes in Revit, and that's through using the parts tool. So let's take a look at how this works. So as you can see over here from the model, as we did in the previous one, we have added all of the necessary layers, but in this case we only have just one floor slab. Now, what we need to do now is just divide the top layer into multiple different layers. So it's still going to be one floor slab with the divided top material. So let's see how is something like this done. I'm just going to select this floor, and then what I'm going to do is go here to the Modify tab, and then go to the Create panel, and here we have the option to create parts. As you can see, the icon looks like it's dividing all of the layers, for example, for this wall. So if I just click that, it's going to divide this into parts. So this floor is now divided into multiple parts. And as you can see now, we can, if I just deselect it, now I can just select individual layers. So once we have something like this done, now we can go to divide parts. So we can divide each part individually, in this case, the top layer. So what I'm going to do now is just go back here into level 1. And then let's start making divisions. So I'm just going to go here into Edit Sketch. You're going to notice that here we have this dashed line on the outside of the layer that's basically showing you where the outline is. So we can start adding divisions like this. So for example, for the tile floor, let's do something like this. There we go. So now if I hit Finish, as you can see here, we have divisions. And if I go back into the 3D view, you can see that that material is now divided. So if we just finish this, now we can select independently this floor and this floor finish. Now let's go back, select the main floor, let's go into Edit Division, for example, and now we can continue dividing it. So let's go back into level 1, and here what I'm going to do is actually maybe continue this just like that. Hit Finish, there we go. Let's edit the sketch again. So let's just go here and add another division. Maybe go all the way to the outside here, or yeah, we can follow that line, I guess. So there we go, we have that division as well, and I think this is it. So if we just hit Finish, there we go, Finish again. Finally, we're done. Now, what we need to do next is here for the visibility. As you can see, it's not really visible in this layer. So what we need to do is just go here and take a look at the visibility, and we just want to make sure that it's going to show parts. So let's go to Parts Visibility, and instead of Show Original, let's switch it to Show Parts. Hit Apply. And now it should show the different wall layers when we're done. So let's go back here into the 3D view, select the, see, okay, there we go. So for example, for this material, what we can do is we can go here and we can play around with this particular material. So as you can see here, it has the properties panel includes some parameters, and for example, one of those is material by original. Now in this case, that's going to use the oak flooring. What we can do, of course, is uncheck that and then change the material. So instead of oak flooring, I'm just going to go here into Edit and then search for floor again, but in this case, let's go with carpet. And there we go, we have carpet there. Now we can select these two, uncheck material by original, and then edit this, and let's use tile. And we can add ceramic tile or something like that. And finally for this one, now as you can see, this one hasn't been divided. I guess that the division wasn't drawn correctly. So let's go back here into level 1. Let's go into Edit Sketch. So here we might have a problem, so let's extend this past there. Oh, so here we have the problem. I guess the problem was there. So, and not here. So we can go back here to the original position of this line. There we go. So now it should work. Let's hit finish. Let's go into 3D. There we go. So now we can finally select this and change the material as well. So let's uncheck the material by original and then go here to material, and then let's use siding. Let's see. There we go. And we have a different material there as well. Now, just one more quick tip. If you go back here into level 1, you're going to notice that you can't really see your floor. Now here for the parts visibility, we have set it up to show parts, but it doesn't show them. Now the reason for this is because when you change your floor into parts, it's going to have a different way of viewing that element in Revit, and just the way that Revit manages the view range is going to be a bit different for showing floors as parts instead of regular floors. So what you just need to do is go here to your view range settings and just change the bottom to unlimited and then hit apply. Okay, of course we have to change the view depth to unlimited as well, and then once we hit apply, now you will be able to see those floor finishes also in your floor plan. So just keep that in mind. That's a small visibility change that you need to make in order to be able to view these floor finishes. And the final approach would be to model it as you would build it. So basically, when creating floors, what you would do is maybe pour out a concrete slab, and then you would add different finish materials for different rooms. Now in this case, we're just going to have the concrete slab and the finish material. Of course, I know there are a couple of materials in between, but just to keep it simple, we're just going to leave it at 2 layers for this demonstration. Now here we have our generic floor, our main one. Now what we're going to be doing next is just leaving this as is. So just leaving that in the floor plan, and then what we're going to do is just go into floors, and let's create a new floor. So just go into edit type, duplicate, and we're just going to call this one finish and then dash wood floor. Click OK, and then for structure, we're just going to make the thickness a bit smaller, maybe 2 centimeters, and then for the material, let's search for wood. And let's just use wood flooring, oak flooring. Click OK. Now you would duplicate this again, so the second one will be finish. Let's use tile for this one, and then again you would go to structure and add the tile material here. There we go, ceramic tile. Click OK. Then you would duplicate this again, and then you would go to you would create a new material. So this will be carpet. Click OK. Go into edit and go into material. Let's search for carpet. There we go. Click OK. Okay, let's just leave it at those 3. I'm just going to click OK. And now what we're going to do is just do first the carpet. So let's just do a simple rectangle here inside of this room. Hit finish. Now you're going to get this overlap highlight, and that's okay. We can just cancel out of that. Don't worry about that for now. Go into floor again. So let's switch this to tile, and let's create a couple of rectangles. One here in this bathroom and one here in this area. Hit finish. Again, same error message. Don't worry about it. And then again, finally, one more material. Let's do the our wood flooring. So for this, I'm just going to use maybe pick lines. Go like that. All the way around. And then we're just going to be using trim and extend to fix this up. So just go to trim and extend to corner and just make sure to trim everything down to corner. Okay, here we have something quite wrong. So let's add a regular line here. There we go. Again, trim and extend. Okay, this all seems okay. Finally here, hit finish. Okay, here we have a small error. Hit finish now. There we go. Okay, so one final thing we have to, this finish material, of course, we need to change it from tile into wood floor. And then if we go into the 3D view, and if I just scroll down and turn the section box on, I can just drop this down. There we go. And let's turn on the realistic mode, and as you can see, everything looks terrible because materials are overlapping, but we just need to select our main generic floor and give it a height offset of -2 centimeters. That's the thickness of each of those layers, and now it's correct. And even if we go into one of the sections, for example, you're going to have that finish, and if I maybe turn on the 10 lines, here we have that finished material over our generic floor. So that's the final approach that you can use to create different floor finishes. Now, as I said, just depending on what you're trying to create, what's your final project going to be like, what's it going to be used for, and basically depending on your circumstances, you can pick from one of these approaches in Revit. And of course, if you have your own approach, please feel free to share it in the comment section below. As I said, you can find the project files on my Patreon, first link in the description, and for some beginner, intermediate, or advanced courses, I've got over 50 hours of content both on my website for complete courses and on my Patreon as well, so check out the links in the description. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this tutorial. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back with another Balkan Architect tutorial in a couple of days. Have a nice day.